the bottom line is it comes down to traffic, leads, and sales. It's just very simple. And the way we work is that we know that there's a portion of your audience who are ready to go. They're actively looking for a solution. So it's our job to find out, okay, who are those people in my audience right now? And how do I get into a conversation with them?
Hey, it's Renee. Welcome to the Into the Wild Show, the podcast for women who want to build incredible mental strength to level up their business and lifestyle. I'm Renee Warren, the founder of We Wild Women, author, speaker, award-winning entrepreneur, and your host. Together, we will make you unapologetic about shining your light, growing your business, and turning you into a wildly confident and successful leader. This is for you, the visionary, the go-getter, the entrepreneur, and for those that need a real kick in the butt to get going and to dream bigger. Each week, I bring in leading experts and entrepreneurs to help you take leaps in the right direction, because I know the best advice comes from someone who has successfully done it before. So, are you ready to level up? Welcome to Into the Wild. Hey, you wild women. My next guest helps experts create simple evergreen sales in their business so they can scale up their sales without any more time from them. She quit teaching in 2011 to be a CEO and has been running an online business ever since. Nicole runs her company with her husband, Dan, and has been able to grow a 7-figure business working just 15 hours a week. What? I wish we could all achieve this. Well, in this episode, Nicole and I talk about her 7-to-7 formula and how entrepreneurs using it can create profitable funnels, what it really takes to actually create a 100K evergreen scalable offer, and what it really means to run a business on only 15 hours a week. Please welcome the incredible Nicole Culver.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
So excited to have you. I've been on this downloading all of your content thing lately.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet.
You've got some really good stuff out there.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us.
I'm so excited. What are we talking about today?
All things about you and your expertise.
Oh, okay. I'm ready.
Love to know, though, where are you located?
New York.
No way. No way. Okay. For some reason, I thought you were on the West Coast.
No, because I'm there a lot. I feel like all the business things I do are on the West Coast. I actually went to Florida. It was the first East Coast trip I've taken in forever. And it was a short plane ride and it was lovely.
So we used to live in New Brunswick, Canada.
Okay.
And we would frequent the Caribbean or Florida during the summer or spring break. And this past year, because now we're on the West Coast, we're in BC in the mountains, I flew to Florida to do an intensive, just thinking, oh, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. And it is a world of a difference. It took me an entire day to get there, an entire day to get back.
Yeah, that's how I feel like when I go. I have so many things in Arizona, California, and the time, it's 3 hours, right? 3-hour time difference for you too doing that. It can be a little rough, but the things we do for business growth.
Right? But it's fun. It's fun when you can go, and it's just as fun when you can come home.
Yes.
To be with the little humans.
Totally.
So you're a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And you have this incredible business. So tell us about what you do and why you do it.
Okay, well, I started a long, long time ago, but right now, our current business, and we've been doing this for the past few years, is called Elevate. And we empower founders with the strategies, tools, and mindset needed to have wildly profitable, fun businesses. And we really work with people who really want to be those cycle breakers in their lives, their families' lives, and their communities' lives. And I thought it was so fun when I was connecting with you that I have that word wildly profitable in our mission statement. And here we are, the name of your podcast.
Actually, the last VIP client that I closed this week on Monday night after my photo shoot, they're located in Australia. They have wild as part of their business name.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is meant to be.
Yeah.
If you have wild in your business name, you have to either be on my show or become a client.
Yeah, I love it.
So what got you into it?
Well, let's see. I was a teacher. I was a 4th grade teacher, and I was always interested in quitting. I don't know if you ever had the traditional job, but I knew I was like not the type of person that was going to be employable for very long. So I did 5 years as a teacher, was looking for a way out, and I was really knowledgeable in health and fitness and food. So I decided to take the leap after my 5th year. We started a food company. I had a health coaching business. And that's really where I started learning by a lot of failures and trial and error about online marketing, because we had a website and we sold our food products online and in person. So it was a very long and windy road to get here, but we can talk as much as you want. I was talking to a client yesterday and she's like, but I feel like I'm always starting over. And I was like, girl, you're talking to the queen of reinvention here. I've done so many things in 12 years of running my own business, and it all got me here, and it's all worth it.
It's funny that we talk about this. If you want to be inspired by these journeys in life, I got a text message from my husband this morning who went wake surfing, because that's what they do in the morning here in the Okanagan Valley, because it's calm in the morning. I've had a similar journey, but mine was 6 years long. It was 6 years of going from running a PR agency to doing this company called Family Academy, which was great, but not aligned with it, to coaching, to back into what I'm doing. He goes to me, just reflecting on your journey, watching you find your stride is so inspiring and impressive, blah, blah, blah. I go, thank you. I feel on fire. I really love this work. Thanks for your support and patience. Getting here took longer than expected, but the lessons were well worth the ride. And he goes, it took exactly what it needed. Mm-hmm. And we don't think that when we're in it, when we're living in these moments of like, oh my gosh, I'm starting here, I'm starting over. It's like, you're reinventing yourself again. And it's okay. You did it.
Yeah. I feel like it's more than okay. It was required. It was required for you. It was required for me to go through. And if you can think about it, like I can think about every time I walked into like a store to sell my products, like I take all of that with me. Every time we did a launch and made less money than we thought or spent too much money on Facebook ads, that all is like in your experience bank. Now you use it to fuel you, and you can talk to your clients in a way that helps them because you've been there. If you had this perfect journey that was just on the up the whole time, every time you talk to someone, you would have nothing to add.
I look at these people like Marie Forleo, Amy Porterfield, and I just refer to these people all the time, Stu McLaren. They just seemingly were just doing the same thing for their entire career. And like that's how got them successful. But if you actually look under the hood of Amy Porterfield's career, she worked with like Tony Robbins. Mm-hmm. And she did a bunch of stuff prior to where she's at right now with Digital Course Academy. And so you kind of need to. They're like stepping stones to success.
Yeah. I even remember I took one of Amy's, it was like a Facebook ads course. This was like back in the day. I don't even know. It was like Facebook groups, and you learned about Facebook groups, and that doesn't exist anymore.
I have one, and I think I pop into it every couple times a month.
Oh, Facebook group?
Yeah. There's probably so much juice in them. Don't get me wrong, but it's true. It's just like things evolve. When you can be in that position to see where the market's going, where the opportunities are, then you chase them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you're always held back by what you've been doing and not stepping into that, then it's going to cost you at some point.
100% it's going to cost you, because then you just become stagnant, and then you just become yesterday's breakfast.
Yeah.
What food business were you in anyways? I'm curious about that.
I had a granola business, and we had some baked goods, and yeah, that's how we started, which is, oh my gosh, talk about brutal. Just like so much hard, literal sweat and muscle going into that business for like the teeniest, like how much can you really sell a bag of granola for? Not that much. So you're doing a lot of work for a very little amount of money.
Yeah. Was that then the foundation for building the methods and the formulas that you've created today?
Yes. We started running Facebook ads with that business, like literally 2012, the like ad. I don't know if you remember those, but then we started building an email list from there, getting people to buy, like warming them up. We had a Facebook group. We had like the whole thing. And that's really how we started, because then people started asking like, well, how are you running Facebook ads? How are you making this work? How are you getting buyers from your ads? And we started helping other people with it. And then we realized like, oh my gosh, we can make a lot more money helping people with their ads and their funnels than this $8 bag of granola.
Now, don't get us wrong. You still need a good bag of granola.
100%. I just get it from other sources.
Exactly. You think about the food business. I mean, that was my first job at 17. I started a restaurant with my sister.
Oh, no.
And what we did is we took over a lease, a seasonal lease of a building that was connected to the parking lot of a gas station. And it overlooked the lake, and we were young, and the opportunity was there. Everything was there already. All we had to do was like clean it, get the food, get a menu, and then tell people about it. And we did really well. I'll tell you, we did really well, but food business, cutthroat.
Yeah.
So tough. And when you can do it well, very few people succeed in it, then you can do really well.
100%. My mom actually opened a restaurant right as we were winding down the food business. It's so interesting because you can't tell people, and no one cares what you think, right? And I was like, oh boy, how is this going to go? I see this, I've been here, and it was fun while it lasted. She ended up selling it, thankfully, but it's brutal.
It's so brutal. So lessons learned, very expensive. And I can imagine being in the industry, you were up early doing all of the stuff to get this business going.
Yes. I quit teaching in June 2011. That was like my last year. We started the food business, and we say we, like my husband helped me. He was still working in New York City corporate, but I was still baking everything, going to the commercial kitchen. And it was so hot and so rough. Where we live, like you can't bake out of your house. It's not legal. So you have to rent a kitchen space. And then I ended up getting pregnant kind of out of surprise and being like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, I can't continue to bake in these conditions. There was like no air conditioning. I don't know how that was legal.
Was this in New York?
100%. No air conditioning, hot. It would have been cleaner in my house, but I wasn't allowed to. And that was like our first form of delegating, because when I got up until like August, September, October, when I had my first kid, we had to delegate, and we actually hired another commercial kitchen to take over the baking for us. And that was like my first diving into delegation. And oh man, so many lessons learned there.
I can imagine. We talk about hours you spend in your business, and you believe that we don't need to be working 40 hours a week.
No.
So how many hours a week should we be working in our business?
Well, it depends. You have to decide what you can do and set those parameters first. Since I had kids, before I had kids, I had a different view of this, but I was never willing to sacrifice my time with them. Now, does that mean my 5-year-old's in preschool? So I'm not with her all day, every day now, but I had time with them. So I always had like the boundaries around the time. So I always said, okay, about 15 hours a week is what I work now. But when they were littler, it was less. So I don't think that you need to have a certain amount of time, but I do think you can pick the time that you have. But then that requires you to really figure out what is your sales system. And that's your first place you look every day. Most people don't look to their sales system to get started, and they do everything else. They'll do like the website or the social post or the things that really don't matter. And that's why you're working so much.
Yeah, that is straight out of the book that I'm still reading, Ready, Fire, Aim.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, yeah. It's one of the books that Alex Hormozy actually recommends reading. But the first thing they say, because the book is kind of divided into 3 different stages of a business, like the first million, the first 5 million, then it's like 5 to 10 million, 10 million plus. And there's different problems at every stage. But the first stage is exactly that. We ignore the sales because we think we have to have everything looking pretty and systematized and firing on all cylinders, when all you need to do, let me tell you, literally, is go into Instagram DMs and start selling yourself. It's that simple, but we just don't do it.
It's because we're scared.
Totally. We're scared to ask for the sale. So Dan's taught me that. And I will say I've gotten a handful of clients for VIP days by doing exactly that. Mm-hmm. When you love what you do and you believe in your product and service so much with conviction, you can sell. And it's not even selling. It's like, I know you need this to get to that next level. And I'm actually doing you a disservice by not selling.
100%. People get so in their head, I think, because it's, I don't want to say popular, but common. I don't know. We're not doing the common. None of us listening here are doing the common. But when you're in the online world and we have these personal brands, I think it's a little bit easier to take things like so personally and to be self-conscious. But the truth is what you just said, we're all in the service business. And people are literally walking around, the right people are walking around looking for a solution. And if you're not willing to say, I can help you, then it's a missed opportunity for both parties.
100%. And I don't know, maybe women are worse at this than men, because like I'll literally lay in bed next to my husband and I'm like tapping his shoulder. I'm like, can we talk? Can you pay attention to me? Because his nose is deep in Instagram DMs. He's like, I just closed 3 more coaching clients. And I'm like, in the 10 minutes that we were lying here, he's like, yeah. I'm like, how do you do that? And he goes, because I'm not cute. And I'm like, I don't want to be your friend.
Yeah.
I just want to be of service.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm just like, hey, looking at your last post with your daughter in the wagon and she's so cute. And I'm just wondering, have you ever done PR for your business?
I think women have it. I don't know, maybe this is just a belief, but I do think it is a little bit harder for us. I don't know. Until you cross a certain threshold where you're just like, I don't give anything. I don't care anymore what people think. I'm just here to serve. And that's the fire. And I'm going to do what's aligned in my mission. And that's where I think we have to really separate Nicole from like the human mom, friend, person, and Nicole as the CEO of my business. And I think we have to know when we're in which role.
Yeah, it is tough. There's a lot of hats we wear and all of the thoughts and the emotions and decisions that go in our brain all day long. I get it. But yeah, I mean, there's more on that too. The term is called sell by chat. There's a lot of great free stuff online about that. But really, it's just about asking for the sale. So tell us about, you have some formulas and methods with how you work. You have one called the 7x7 formula.
Mm-hmm.
How do entrepreneurs use that to create profitable businesses?
We can go as much or as little as you want into this, but it's 4 phases. If I could just say the easiest way to describe it, it's just a sales system. And the sales system is as simple as it can literally be. And basically, as you get more into our formula, then we start expanding. So the first phase we start with is your current audience. And most people have an audience. I mean, most people we work with, because we don't work with people who are like brand new. We work with people who are experts, who have a formula, who've gotten results before, because we know those are the people we can help the most. So we start with your current audience and we basically do a lot of testing. What's going to get them to talk back? What are your money magnet words, which are the 3 to 5 words that get your audience to respond? What gets them on a sales call if you're doing sales calls? What gets them on a webinar? We don't call them webinars, but for lack of my terms with your audience, I'll call it a webinar. What gets them on a live training? And then we really do testing with your warm audience. So then we can go to your colder audience and expand your audience. That's when we start to create a very, very simple funnel to either drive people to your weekly live training or drive people to sales calls. The bottom line is it comes down to traffic, leads, and sales. It's just very simple. And the way we work is that we know that there's a portion of your audience, like you just said, who are ready to go. They're actively looking for a solution. So it's our job to find out, okay, who are those people in my audience right now? And how do I get into a conversation with them?
Okay, you wild thing, you can throw out that scruffy media pitch now. No more poring over bland pitches, wasting countless hours trying to piece your story together, wondering where to send it and who will even care. You know that landing media coverage is the #1 way to claim your seat at the table, and you're savvy enough to know it's time to bring in an expert. That's why we've created a system to take the guessing game of PR off your plate. One day, one investment, all the value. Get your PR strategy in hand sooner with our VIP days. It's strategy over breakfast and PR ready by dinner. Picture this, a world-class PR strategy created for your business by an award-winning publicist with 12 plus years of industry experience, and not just an upgraded version of a dull media kit, but a custom plan that's strategically crafted to capture the attention of journalists and influencers. No fill-in-the-blank, bare-bone type templates. Just a detailed roadmap to move your brand forward without the agency price. And this isn't a course. Here's exactly what you'll walk away with. All of this custom media kit, pitch angles for podcast, print, and TV, curated podcast list of over 50 vetted shows, 1 press release, confidence to pitch at your own pace, custom training videos to show you the way, plus a month of follow-up support with me. If you want in to this amazing VIP day, simply go to wewildwomen.com/VIP day to either fill in the application if you're ready to do it or schedule a call if you want more. That's wewildwomen.com/VIP day. It seems so simple. So it's traffic leads sales. So you need to get the traffic. So there's things you need to do to get the traffic. And then when you get the traffic, there's things you need to do to convert them into sales. That process, though, it's like so intimidating because here's the one thing that I know because I'm living this right now, but I'm starting to trim the fat. There are so many things you can choose to do to get traffic. Facebook ads, speaking, PR, all this stuff. How do you help people decide what actually would work for them?
So this actually comes down to a time thing too, because when I started, I had really little kids. So I used ads because I didn't have the time to do the speaking. I didn't really have the time to coordinate with people because couldn't be here at 1:00. I don't have a babysitter. So we just used ads, and we were willing to use ads because we worked on our system to make sure we had a return. Now I have 3 kids in school. My littlest goes to school from 9:15 to 2:15. So I have time to do things like this. So now I've layered onto this. But when you're starting, you just have to pick one and get it to work and optimize it before, unless you do have more time. But usually we say, okay, just pick one. Is it going to be your organic content? Is it going to be ads? Is it going to be speaking? But you have to be able to be consistent a few times a week with either one you pick. And then we say like, okay, if you want to go all in on organic, it's going to take a little bit of time, but can you commit to showing up 3 or 4 times a week to see if we can drive traffic that way?
Define organic.
Your current audience on Instagram, TikTok. I guess I'm not well-versed in TikTok, so don't ask me about TikTok.
Me neither.
Most of our people use Instagram. Some of them use TikTok too, but it's really mostly Instagram.
Right. So you're creating this organic, essentially, method and schedule for you to show up. There's part of this too that's easy said because it's like, what do you say? How do you say it? What are we sharing? Because I know there's this framework of you share the why, but you sell the how. So how does that work too? Saying let's increase organic traffic. We all struggle. We all struggle with that. I struggle with that.
I mean, we do that. But at the same time, like I just did a post yesterday on our Tiny Promise timeline.
I love that.
I told how to do it. But the honest truth is I can't tell you everything in an Instagram post. Like I just cannot give you everything you need to know in one Instagram post. So I just feel like I'm going to give you whatever value that I can. But the truth is, in order to get my entire system and my entire formula in one place where you can use it and not be like, okay, she posted this on Instagram on this day. And then like a month ago, she gave, you know what I mean? Like that's overwhelming. So I just feel like I'm going to share as much as I possibly can on this platform, but there's no way that you could get the full experience unless you work with us. So I understand that, but I also don't feel like I need to hold back with the content that I share because there's just no way I could share everything I know on Instagram.
To follow Nicole, it's just at Nicole Culver on Instagram. See, I always look at content from people like you and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's got to be some MBA-based formula to come up with what you're posting and sharing because everything is so good. But I want to back up a little bit because I love your idea. You just shared this thing. I don't know, was it an ad? No, it was on a story. But tell us about your tiny promise.
Yeah. My formula is literally have a conversation with someone and then record what they say and then do a piece about it. That's like my whole content strategy. Tiny Promise timeline. So it's something I came up with, and I came up with this 2 live events ago. We did an event in Sedona in October 2022. And it was because what I noticed was when I was helping people create their Evergreen, their weekly sales system, they were struggling because they went from like open close, so cohort style, like we all start on the 1st. to weekly enrollment. And what I noticed was they needed a way to create an onboard system. Now, when you switch from like cohort style to Evergreen, you really need a system to get people the same experience as if they were going through it live. So how do you do that? That's what we call the Tiny Promise timeline. And again, here's the how. It's you study your best clients. You study your clients who've gotten the best results, the ones that are like, oh my gosh, if I just had 100 of these people, everyone would sign up for my program and everyone would be getting great wins. And you reverse engineer what they did. So you look at, okay, what made them sign up? What made them enroll? What problems were they having? And ideally, and this is what we work on, you've kept track of this. If you've kept track of their, what we call like their data tracker, this is their weekly snapshot, it makes it so easy to make a Tiny Promise timeline because you saw, okay, Michelle, she came in and right away she did this. Right away she did this piece of content. Right away she watched this video. And then you just reverse engineer everything they did, all of the steps to get that result. And then you can create an onboard that basically mimics that.
I love that. So Joey Coleman, I forget the name of his book. I think his book is Never Lose a Customer Again. And one of his methods is wow your customers in the first 100 days. So let's just assume you run an agency or you have some sort of retainer-based or an extended program, 6 months, 12-month program. Is the first 100 days, which seems like a lot, and maybe it is the time that you have to absolutely wow them. So you get those little wins. For my VIP day, it's because this is relatively new to me, but my promise is that if you take the strategy of which I've created and you implement it and you do exactly as I say, you will get a win within the first couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
One client this week just started pitching on Monday or Tuesday, and we're Friday at this recording. She already had 4 yeses.
Wow.
She's pitching to be on podcasts, and she got 4 yeses. She goes, this works. And I'm like, I told you it would work. Now, those are bigger wins, but a tiny win is that. It's like, do what I say. And you probably have the same thing. Do what you say, and you'll get these wins.
Yeah. We say, like, do what we say, and your audience will be talking back within 24 hours. Now, a lot of people get hung up with that because they're like, oh my gosh, I can't promise that. What if it doesn't happen? And your promise is to your deliverable that you're showing them the way. And for most people, it will happen. For some people, it won't. And then you troubleshoot with that and you help them make it happen. And then you take that and you put it into your program. It gets better and better. And when you see someone not hit the milestone, you don't panic. You just act like a scientist and you say, well, what were the ingredients that went into this? Why didn't it happen? And then you fix it. And then, like I said, you evolve your onboarding and then you can improve it. And the next person will come in and they'll hit it or they won't. And then you go through that again.
Yes. And as you improve this process of customer delight and your systems get better and you get more wins for your customers, guess what you can do, ladies? You can increase your prices. And the value's there, the right person will pay for it. For me, it's like in selling my VIP days, I was selling them for like $2,500 and it was $3,000 and $3,500 and it kept going up. And there hasn't been any price objection yet. Knowing this, every single time I execute on a VIP day, the value gets better because I put more into it, understanding the systems have already been created and I can increase my prices.
Yeah. It's so funny. I don't know if this is a woman thing or whatever, but first of all, there will be price objections at every price and there will not be at every price. Someone can say an $11 product is too expensive, but then they'll pay $10,000 for a Chanel bag. You know what I mean? Like price is just a perception. And if someone has an objection, then they're not seeing the value or you're not conveying the value, but both are fixable.
Yeah. So the conveying the value is probably one thing too, but also truly understanding our target audience. Mm-hmm. One of the first things I do when creating a PR manual is getting an understanding of who their customer is. People question, well, why do I need to know who my customer is if I'm doing PR? Because you need to know where they're hanging out, what they're reading to and listening to, because that's where you need to be and show up. And so understanding that helps everything be a lot easier with what I do. So you talk about 100K evergreen scalable offers. Seems like a dream come true. What really goes into creating these scalable evergreen offers?
Well, we say 100K because we want every person that we work with to have a 100K offer. And I don't mean that you're charging 100K. I mean, it has the possibility to add 100K in revenue to your business. I just want to be really clear. And some people come in and they have a 5K price point, a 10K price point, and some people come in and they have a $1,000. And we even have one client who they have a reading program that they give to parents and it helps their kids read better. And they have a low price point, but they are crushing it right now. And I think they had 30 sales last week at a lower price point. So it doesn't matter how much it is, but we want it to be able to be scalable to get to adding 100K at least in your business. And what does the scalable mean? Well, it means you can serve however many people you want to serve with a defined amount of your time. So you're working with your program 1 to 2 to 3 hours a week, but you can take on, ideally hundreds of clients.
What does an unseasoned funnel expert or funnel person, where do they begin their journey? And the big question too is, how can they get over that tech overwhelm? Because we talk a lot about you need some technology, some things to help you deliver the service. So where do they begin?
I am the queen of simplicity. Truly, truly, truly the queen of simplicity. So if you are literally really, truly just starting out, my best advice would be the first thing you need is an offer that people want. That is your most important thing. And the best free resource for that, not free, but 99 cents on Kindle, is Alex Hormozi's $1 Million Offer book. $100 million offer book. That is
$100 million offer book, yeah.
How much money would you have paid for that book?
So I'm actually reading that book in tandem with their Ready, Fire, Aim book. So it's do I feel like a little Alex sprinkle here? Or do I feel I think it's Michael Masterson. I don't even know his name. But yeah, was it 99 cents?
On Kindle, it's 99 cents. Yes.
$100 million offer by Alex Hormozi. 100% get that.
So that, is the first place to start. You need an offer people actually want, and you need a way for them to pay you. We use Thrivecart. Thrivecart is $499 one-time payment, and it needs to connect to Stripe or some other payment processor. That's the minimum. If you're really starting out, that's really all you need. We have people that we know. I started out literally sending things in a Google Drive. You don't need complicated tech. Once you get past, I would say 10, 15, 20 clients, then you are going to want to start investing in some type of software. We use UpCoach for our portal. There's Kajabi. There's cheaper ones like MemberVault. But really, when you are starting, the simplest thing you need is a way for people to pay you and then somewhere for your content to live. You don't need anything else more complicated until you start getting those consistent sales. And then that's the next conversation of the next tech stack. But if you are also really struggling with that, then I would say that's a great place to hire a VA to just help you so you don't have to do all of the tech yourself, because it can be overwhelming. But you're just starting, you want to make your first $1,000, just get a payment processor and Zoom, and you're golden.
So Stripe works. Your last post from 23 hours ago, drop some knowledge bombs in there. This is on Instagram. What's it called? Carousel post. And the last post is say, hey, if you want to learn more, DM me the word hybrid to get a private link. And I did that, full well knowing she was going to be on my show this morning. Anyway, what Nicole did, which is so smart, which anybody can do, is a Loom video, which is you get 20 free looms.
Yeah, I think it's 25 free looms.
And it's just her going over a Google document talking about her program. And it costs you next to nothing to do that.
That it cost me nothing because I have free Loom. I don't even pay for Loom. So it's a 5-minute Loom and then a Google Doc. It's so easy. People make things so complicated, but really the complication only needs to come when you need to really automate. But when you're in that first $10,000, you're trying to get to 10K a month, 15K a month, even 20K a month. You're kind of in the hustle within the hours you have, just throwing spaghetti, seeing what stick, and then getting into the repeat until you've basically run out of capacity. And then you got to see what you got to fix.
My Facebook ads girl, Hattie, she's amazing. We were trying to come up with some ideas on how to create Facebook ads that would serve a cold audience. And she's like, oh, here's something that worked for me. She created the same thing as you, a Google Doc using Loom, recorded this video, ran ads to this download. She used a Facebook form to get the information. And all it was how she uses ChatGPT to get her time back to be with her daughter during the day or something. So these were like commands that you can plop into ChatGPT. It was for free. And she goes, I got so many people because it was perfectly targeted to the women that need to learn about ChatGPT. And now she has all these people that are on her email list.
That's amazing. I mean, there's so many things you could do. I could think of like 4.
Yeah. I could think of 4. I could think of 1,000,000. We just did that crazy photo shoot and I was talking with her and I said, should we wait till all of these photos are edited? And she goes, no, honestly, Renee, just maybe do your hair, but jump in front of a camera and I'm going to give you prompts and you're just going to record these videos and we're going to turn them into an ad.
Awesome.
Right. And that's just an example of one thing you can do. But there's so many things. And yes, we complicate it because there's so many great softwares out there that we can use, like Thrivecart, like I'm going between Asana and Notion. What do I use? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as the work is done.
Right. It doesn't matter. And I think the faster you can make decisions, fast decision making is, I think, one of the keys to business success, because otherwise you just procrastinate. And mostly everything is fixable. There's very little in business that's catastrophic. Really, honestly, like you send out a wrong link in an email, it's not that big of a deal. You send a new one and you say, oops, what really is going to cost you that much time or money that can't be fixable when you're starting? You know, bigger businesses,
bigger problems.
Yeah, exactly. Bigger mistakes. But at this point, the cost is in the procrastination.
I love that too. They say new level, new devil. Those mistakes as you grow get bigger. But hey, they say if you want to fail fast early. Get that out of the way and learn how to fail. Learn how to fail well so that you don't make those expensive mistakes.
Yeah.
Anything more you want to add about the incredible work that you do?
Oh my gosh, just go. Like the faster you can make decisions and not procrastinate and just keep your person that you are trying to help at the heart of everything you do. And it will be easier to make faster decisions and to get out of your own way if you literally have that person on a Post-it that you've helped before and you just think of them. Like every time you have to make a decision, think of that person. How would this serve them? What would I do if I had them in mind? And just make it as fast as you can.
I used to actually have a framed picture of a woman holding a baby on my desk because she was my ideal customer. And people would come into my office and they're like, who's that? I'm like, this is weird. I don't actually know this person. But she's a reminder of who my ideal customer is. And now I know her name is Jackie. She's not only a real friend of mine, but she's a real client.
Yeah.
And she just completed my VIP day and she's getting wins. So we look at Jackie from like a perspective of Jackie came to us as a version 1.0. So we call her Jackie 1.0. And we're helping her bridge the gap between Jackie 2.0. And how can we serve her to get there? You just got to remember, you're here for that person. Those days when you don't want to show up and you're dragging your heels, think about who you're serving. That motivates you to actually do your hair.
Yeah.
And show up.
I don't know if you have to do your hair, but
no, you don't. I just put mine in a ponytail.
Me too.
Well, I have one last question for you. When I ask you what it means to be a wild woman, what is that to you?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think to just like live free and to act in the way that you want to act without worrying about what other people are going to think, just living from your heart and fulfilling your desires.
I love it. So if people want to go online to find you, where can they go?
Nicole Culver on Instagram. That is the easiest place, probably the fastest place. You could also go to my website, nicoleculver.co, but I love chatting on Instagram, so go there.
Yeah, her content's amazing. Well, Nicole, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was so fun.
So there you have it. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Into the Wild. To make this girl happy and to help reach other women who are dreaming of starting their business, please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and everywhere you listen in. Also, if you want to find me in the wild, check me out on Instagram at Renee_Warren. That's RENEE_WARREN. And leaving you with one of my favorite tips of all time. The best advice you could ever receive is from someone who has successfully done it before you. Until next time, ladies, peace out.